There was a man named Alex. For most of his life, he believed there was only one road. Every morning, he repeated the same habits, worried about the same problems, and ended the day with the same results. When he looked at successful people, he kept asking himself, why them, and not me? He imagined life as a railroad track. Where you were born, how much money your family had, and what skills you already knew seemed to decide where the train would go. So he worked hard, but he was always anxious. He wanted to change, but somehow kept moving in circles. One night, he had a dream. He walked into a library so large that it had no walls and no ceiling, only shelves disappearing into darkness. Every book had no title, only an image on the cover. He opened the first one and saw his ordinary day, waking up, checking his phone, worrying, delaying, and falling asleep disappointed. He was shaken, because the book was too accurate. Then he opened another book. In that version, he did not check his phone. He sat down and finished one small task. In a third book, he created something every day. In another, someone finally responded to his work. In another, he met a person who opened a door for him. The more Alex read, the more stunned he became. He had believed there was only one version of his life, but in this library he saw countless versions of himself. One version complained forever. One version was afraid, but started anyway. One version quit after failure. Another failed, adjusted, and continued. Then a voice spoke from deep inside the shelves, "This is not prophecy. This is the space of variations." Alex asked, "Will all of these things happen?" The voice answered, "No. They are all possible, but the book you enter depends on where you place your attention and what choices you make each day." The voice said, "You thought reality was fixed. But reality is more like an ocean. Every wave can carry you in a different direction. You do not jump into a new life all at once. You turn the boat little by little." Alex looked down at the book in his hands and realized he had been reading the same book for years. It was called, "I Cannot. I Have No Chance. It is Too Late for Me." He had read that book every day, then wondered why his life never changed. The voice said, "What you focus on becomes what you keep noticing. If you keep searching for failure, the world will seem full of proof that failure is waiting for you." Alex remembered his own mind. When he wanted to begin, he first imagined obstacles. When he saw an opportunity, he first imagined risk. Before he even acted, he had already watched the failure version in his head. He asked, "So if I only think about success, will I succeed?" The voice said, "No. This is not fantasy. You cannot sit still and wait for the world to carry you into another life. You must choose, and you must act. But before action, you must stop feeding the reality you do not want." Alex finally understood. His problem was not that he never tried. His problem was that fear often chose the direction for him. He said he wanted success, but spent his attention on failure. He said he wanted freedom, but kept strengthening the feeling of being trapped. He said he wanted change, but made decisions from the old identity. When a person says every day, "This is just who I am," he is helping the old life survive. The voice led him to another shelf. The covers there were blurry, as if those versions had not been chosen yet. Alex saw one book clearly enough to recognize himself. On the cover, he was calm, sitting at a desk, working. There was no applause, no miracle, only a quiet kind of strength. He asked, "How did that version of me get there?" The voice answered, "He did not ask every day whether he would fail. He asked, where can I turn the boat just a little today? And then Alex understood. Changing life does not always mean becoming a different person overnight. It means choosing one less thing that pulls you back, and one more thing that moves you closer. A creator does not move by studying other creators forever. He moves by finishing one piece today. A person who wants money does not move by fearing poverty. He moves by learning one way to create value. The voice said, "You do not have to fight the entire world. You only have to stop automatically choosing the old version." When Alex woke up, nothing outside had changed. His room was the same. His phone was the same. His bank account had not magically grown. But one thing was different. He no longer saw his current situation as a final judgment. He saw it as a temporary position on one line of reality. He knew he was still inside the old version, but he also knew that other versions existed beside it. That day, he did not ask, "Can I really succeed?" He asked, "If I am moving toward another version, what is the smallest step I can take today?" Then he sat down and took that step. That is the idea of the space of variations. Your life is not only the version you see now. The version you reach depends on what you believe, what you notice, what you choose, and what you do every day.